Hello there, meteorologist Matt Law here, watching some severe thunderstorms that have popped up. Really, just one that we're monitoring as of this hour here in and around the Golden Triangle. We see here between Starkville and the Columbus area where that is showing up at this point. Again, not super duper strong storm, but we still could potentially get some damaging wind gusts as a few of these storms they try to kind of go through a bit of a collapsing phase there. And this one still kind of at near peak intensity. But you can see some of the rain there spreading out from the center of this back toward the north and west. That little ring there, rain cool there. The edge of that lightning, we're talking about 196 strikes. You'll notice that it was down, actually up at their peak over the course of the last 45 minutes or so. There's not a lot of movement on these storms today. And so when we kind of check the peak threats, a lot of what they do, they just pop up and drop right where they're at. So a couple minutes ago, I would say about 2:30, probably at its peak. Still some spots where we could be talking about some hail. Checking our True Shield hail swath on this. I don't have any place here where we're all the way up into the probable, which is where we're usually seeing some large hail. Most of this is a possible sign that we could be talking about hail up around 3/4 of an inch in size, maybe to an inch in size in some spots there. Now, at this point, the heaviest portion of this has been just slightly east of the Starkville area. We'll check some cameras here to get a kind of look at that. We'll start just west of the Starkville area using our camera there in the 8 to 10 area, kind of looking beneath that thunderstorm. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Oktibbeha as well as portions of Lowndes County with this. We'll look at this a couple different ways here for a moment. So we'll start off again kind of panning this camera, which is kind of on the northwest side of Starkville. We get a visual look at what we're experiencing with this, and we're largely kind of looking that direction there, more kind of southeast. We're going to look back toward the east, and you can see how it's really concentrated there. You can actually see some of the lights and water towers and such of Starkville kind of right there in the middle. And this is the downburst. So as this thing just kind of plops down whatever it's planning on doing, that's when we're going to clearly have, I think, the most significant of whatever produces heavy rainfall, as well as possibly some damaging gusty winds. So we're looking pretty much right at the heart of whatever this is going to try to produce. One thing that's very obvious on here, we are not talking about tornadoes. How this kind of set up some darker, odd-looking clouds on either side of this, but we are not talking about any sort of tornadoes out of this kind of a setup today. So just want to make sure that right off the top, these pulse kind of thunderstorms, that is not something that we'll contend with out of these. So let's go ahead and we're going to get a storm track on it, but the reality of it is that this isn't really moving a whole lot at all. And see, in that last couple moments here, where we're looking just a moment ago over at the camera, it has popped out a couple spots there. We do have that darker purple large hail is concerned there near Artesia Road, south of Blackjack, where I think more likely we'll probably get some of that hail that probably fall out of this for some spots pretty close to there. Let's look three-dimensionally on this storm here. As we do that, will hopefully allow us to kind of see the parts of it that are developing before it gets severe thunderstorm warning parts of Artibaha and Lowndes County there until 3:15 for both of those spots. We kind of slide this into 3 dimensions on a cutout so the clouds around it, just so we can cut down into the most intense parts here. Clear off where it says that 43 dBCs for a moment. And we'll slice in to see what it's kind of holding up there aloft. Right there is probably the reason why it's staying more probable on some of that large hail. A little bit more of that showing up there at this time, getting up there closer to about 20,000 feet. So this big kind of blob of pink that you see here, this is that hail aloft up in the thunderstorm that is trying to fall down. So exactly where is it kind of aimed at? We'll go back to 2D mode to give you an idea of that. So that's the thing, and that's where we were looking at a moment ago on that true shield hail threat. You could see how the heaviest of everything there is actually up aloft in the thunderstorm, not even where the red is showing up there. That's the benefit of having Mom Justice stop those three and sort of take into account everything that this is capable of. So that's why the hail, even though the heaviest red, you just look at the typical red there, you're like, well, Artesia Road's not under that. That's because that hail was aloft and starting to fall down out of this. So folks there hopefully move those cars to an indoor place there in Sessoms, as well as Blackjack locations there on the east side of Starkville. So we kind of look back toward Tillamook County. Solidly this heaviest portion of this is in the Tillamook County area versus Lowndes County. So just a very sharp distinction there on where this is the heaviest at this point in time. Putting this into motion, giving you kind of a 1-hour loop on this, you'll notice it just isn't moving much, maybe slightly expanding northward. But the hail is on the south side of there. It hasn't yet hit the ground. So, and certainly some of the heavy rain now making it down there south on the south side of the Starkville area at this point, as it kind of expands more toward the north. So a lot of heavy rainfall likely out of this storm. Let's go back and check our camera there to see if you can maybe we get a decent shot there going back toward the Aiden area and looking back toward this. There it is right there. Hold on. So that's probably some of that bigger hail on the south side of that starting to fall out. Those streamers there, that's the large and severe hail. You can see that's also where the lightning is the most prevalent. 88 degrees on our Fastnet camera. Appreciate our partners there with 4 County Electric for sponsoring this camera and many of the cameras we do have around the Golden Triangle area at this point. So certainly looking like some hail starting to fall out of that one as well. Check our chat, see what you guys are seeing. Looks like everybody watching, looking, No reports yet, so that's a good sign. Hopefully that remains the case. A reminder that you can share your reports with us using the Mississippi Live app. Again, free and available for all of those various devices there. I'll go and pop again. That way you can get the app information on their iOS and Android devices. Make sure to, of course, like, subscribe, follow, and all those sorts of things. I'm going to pan this camera slightly to the south, because even just in the last couple minutes, what we've been looking at, that's your big hill on the south side of that that is falling down out of that thunderstorm there. All of that kind of right there that's sort of falling out, that's the big hill in whatever form or fashion. And also you can see how it kind of has sort of a wispy sort of look on the bottom there, how kind of has like fingers like heading down. Those are indicating some of the strong winds that are probably falling out of this as well. So share your pictures with us. We appreciate you all for doing that. Certainly it helps us to get an idea of what you are seeing. But despite any wispiness that you're looking at there, no tornadoes out of these thunderstorms today. Go and clear this back off, back to Mama Justice Doppler radar here. And again, the heavy stuff's now starting to fall there closer to Blackjack and Sesame on the side of this storm. Storm expanding kind of back toward the west as we have here in Colonial Hills, back toward Academy Park, and stretching into the south side there of the Mississippi State campus. That's heavy rainfall just outside of the warning. On the Lowndes County side, Columbus, this is a vastly different story. The heaviest portion of this is solidly to your west. And that's again where when we check our various cameras here, you can see certainly the westbound camera showing it, but no real issues in the Columbus area. There's some rain falling, but it's light rain, no severe weather associated with any of that at this point in time here in the Columbus area. 75 degrees as of the latest update there. We'll look from the other direction. We'll come up from the West Point area just to kind of get an idea on how the north side of this storm is looking. We're kind of zoomed in a decent amount here. So let's go ahead and a little more southwest. So we're looking along kind of the northern edge of that thunderstorm. Panned a little too far down. And so right about there, that's that heavy rain on the north side. And so this is expanding northward just a little bit more. So there will be some gusty winds expanding that direction, possibly also back toward the east, toward the West Point area. But the strongest portion of this is really on the south side of that storm. Let's still look here from Macon. We have to kind of flip some of these cameras around as we go to them, because Macon looking kind of south, not really showing a whole lot there of great concern. Actually, Maven might be our best option. Once we make it around, then we'll look at Maven here on all of our different fastnet cameras that we have down here around the Golden Triangle. So swing this back around toward the northwest, kind of looking there. Uh, uh, just right with tower, you can kind of see that's again some of that stronger wind kind of falling out of it at that spot there. On the north side in Maven, we sort of triangulate this one here. Let's see. So that again, looking kind of partially through it, but I think we're also looking at different directions. So this one back toward the southeast. Yeah, that's more southwest. And you'll notice how